Okay, here's some notes to help you get through the 4-5 lesson if you need it. My exposure is a little bit off. Sorry about that. Do I need to make it brighter? There we go. Okay, here we need to rewrite subtraction as addition. So change this and change this. And whenever you're subtracting two numbers, you need the bigger number on top. You don't have to do this step, but you do need whatever has the bigger magnitude or the bigger absolute value on top here. So I chose to flip it around here, but really you could just skip straight to here. So the 12 goes on top. The 7 needs to line up under the 2 because those are both in the 1's value. You can only add or subtract like with like. And then the 3400ths needs to be under the zeros that you add to the 12. And you need to do some borrowing and regrouping. The last 0 becomes a 10. This one becomes a 9. The 12 changes to an 11. When we get done, we need to add a negative to our answer because the 12 had a bigger magnitude than the 7. I have more negatives than I have of positives. When you have fractions with several different denominators, you can either do 2 at a time, or you can just find a common denominator for all 3 of them. That's what I did, which was 8. So I need to multiply this one by 2 over 2 to change that into 8s, and this one by 4 over 4 to change that one into 8s. Denominator stays the same, and you add those top numbers. I kind of added by grouping. I got -7 for here, and then I added 2 to it, which gives us to -5. You could add in any order, it doesn't matter. Here we have just a tough fraction problem. There's 2 different ways of doing it. You could either leave it as mixed numbers. So I've rewritten as addition. I've gotten a common denominator. I've done my addition because these are 2 negatives. But my answer is a mixed number and it's also improper. You can't have that, so I needed to write 11/8 as 1 and 3/8. And all of this is negative, so I'm adding together that whole negative part, which is -6 and 3/8. Some kids don't like that. Some kids prefer to just make it improper. So I made 4.5 improper, 4 times 2 plus 1. And I made 1 7/8 improper, 1 times 8 plus 7. That gave me the -15. And then I get a common denominator. I add the top numbers, don't add the bottom numbers, the denominators. And then I'm going to make this into a mixed number. 8 goes into 51 6 times with a remainder of 3. So it's 6 wholes and a remainder of 3, and the shape of the piece is 8s. Last up on tonight's homework, you'll see some order of operation problems. You're going to add those together. This is going to give you -2. You're going to add those together. That's going to give you -3. I didn't really show my intermediate step here. I probably should have. I apologize about that. That's really 3 plus -5. And this is really 3 plus -6. So this gave us -2. This gave us -3. And now I need to rewrite that subtraction again as addition. These 2 are going to form a great big positive there, adding of a positive. So my answer is 1. At the very end of your homework, you'll see some problems that have a fraction and a decimal in it. I like decimals better, so I just rewrote 10.5 as 10.5. And then I just did the problem as normal. Okay, I know I went over that a lot quickly. You could pause the video, go back to it, ask me questions today or tomorrow.